I'm sure you were expecting to hear the voice of a beautiful elf or a wise wizard, so they could spin you a tale of gold and ancient evils. But that is not this story. No, this is a story of 4 friends that call Middle-earth home. A dwarf of the line of Durin's kin, who is obsessed with knowledge instead of gold. An elf of Rivendell, sworn to serve and protect the descendants of a once great house. A banished dwarf, seeking glory and proof that there is more to life than what lies under a mountain. And a hobbit of the Shire, who collects treasures of the smallest kind. Together, with their strength, wits, and heart, they will face the growing shadows of the East, bringing light where there is darkness.
Every time a wizard shows up, trouble follows him, no matter what he has to say. He led them back into that mountain, and he knew it wasn't going to end in good, and he did it for the dragon. I don't trust wizards. They've never given me any reason to. And it was all done, and our king was gone, and our people not any more found than they were before we reclaimed some mountain from a dragon. Bye-bye, Gandalf. Maybe he was south hanging with the lots of you. But Gandalf comes through like a typhoon, a wind, a raging sea crashing and taking out everything in its path. Gandalf the Grey brings news of bad tidings, and in his wake is always death. Always.
Well, if you travel with me, it's likely you're going to be part of his stories.
Well, you know, I thought you was retiring. Wait, we are taking a letter from Gandalf.
Yes.
Could you have led with that? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I would have left you back in Bree in that alleyway, no matter how ruggedly old and handsome you are.
Look, I understand that you might have your feelings about what happened to the mountain and the dragon. I was there. Please don't forget. This was only a couple of years ago.
If you do not like friends of Gandalf, perhaps you may think better of going to Rivendell with me.
I'm not going to Rivendell for friends. I'm going to deliver something.
Similarly to Solheim's letter.
Similarly, but I sure enough didn't get it off Gandalf the Grey. But I genuinely believe, regardless, both the letter and the nondescript tiny item we carry all deserve to go exactly where they belong. And after everything I experienced, I can tell you that small, indescript, tiny metal object definitely does not belong to the person that was carrying it. It doesn't belong to me, neither. And it needs to be taken to the right person.
You were the one who swallowed it.
For safekeeping, so that I could make it back home. It's a nondescript item, don't worry about it, Solheim. It's a long story.
Remembering what I do of the stories you've told of your people in that mountain, I find it very interesting that you blame Gandalf. However, Gandalf was not present when your relatives decided against Gandalf's advisement to go into the mountain. You also decided very impulsively to swallow said object. Perhaps that this would follow that maybe it is not the involvement of Gandalf, but the impulsivity of the decisions of your family that have made the events turn out the way they are.
you notice that on the head of the mattock, there are scratches. Scratches that any self-respecting dwarf would have taken care of the moment they noticed them. And yet you have not.
Oh no! Me baby! He's been scarred. Look!
You look at this, and you inspect closely, and you see that it is not, in fact, scarred, and they are not, in fact, scratches. They are runes. They are dwarvish runes in Kustul.
Wait
Written
a
across
second.
the head of your mattock are the words Zirak Kazad, which translates...
Which means for all of us at home.
In Dwarvish, it translates to Spike of the Dwarves. It doesn't expressly mean anything to you, but as you are ranting and raving about family, previously about the woes of Gandalf, and particularly Gimli, son of Gloom, you remember skirmishing with your brother and seeing him skirmish with others. And he has both carved and shouted the phrase Baruch Kazad, which means axe of the dwarves. In fact, a common battle cry of your brother, your little brother, is Baruch Kazad, Kazad Amenu, which is axe of the dwarves, dwarves are upon you. That is his battle cry. And somehow, Spike of the Dwarves is written on your mattock.
See, I knew I should have talked about him, because no matter what happens, Gimli always sticks his little house out of a hole, you know? Maybe it's a family thing. No, I left my family. They basically disown me. They don't want me around no more, so why? What if, as you pointed out, my family is like, cursed? What if the great line of dwarves is really not great at all? Just bumbling idiots who make the same mistake over and over and over again. With the help of our families. I don't want to end up in a mountain.
So don't.
Well, I'm trying, but it's all following me.
Well, Glowfrom, perhaps this is some sort of manifestation of the rather rare and mind-boggling act of you actually making contact with that wraith.
Oh, you mean when it went with the light? Oh, yes. So what? You think me hammer named itself after smacking a wraith around?
In a way, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So, but by physical touch of the other world, it's marked me hammer?
That's my guess. I'm not quite an expert.
Oh no, is it bad?
No, I don't think so. Okay. The fact that you were able to make contact with the wraith is quite magnificent.
Oh, you think my hammer got better? Leveled up, if you would. I don't have a better term for it. My hammer, it
improved itself.
Oh, I hugged me hammer. I hug it. I hold my mattock tight. I kiss it. And, you're very special. Yes, you are. I knew it the moment I started beating your metal.
You see what is known as the Milestone. On the Great East Road, just south of Weathertop, you see there are two large stone kind of columns, mostly ruined, on either side of the road. This used to be a large archway, kind of leading up to the fort that was Weathertop. This is called the Milestone, and you see a man, about 6'5", wearing a greenish-gray cloak, drawn over his head, hood kind of down, so you can't really quite make out the face. But you see that he bears the resemblance to a traveling folk. perhaps someone who is living a hard life on the road, perhaps not too dissimilar to yourself. The day is long and the hours are late. The Moot has ended.
Where may I find news of the Moot?
He looks to you and sort of like cocks his head. Are you a friend of the kingdoms of old?
I am Alaveneth Berida.
He sort of reflects in recognition of the name, and he does sort of like, it's not exactly a salute, but it's definitely a gesture of like reverence, and he says, I am Isil Mianel. He says, if you and your companions are of mind to fight the great enemy, then follow me and I will explain what happened in the Moot, or at least as much as I am permitted.
The Smallheim is actually looking for Haleth.
What she said.
Hold, please. And he like pulls out like a side satchel, and you see him like unfurl like a handful of papers that were like rolled up together, and he sort of goes through a few of them. I believe she's headed north. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe she's headed north. Is there something you needed?
Just in general, or to a particular place, or?
No, she was accompanied by another of our ranks, a young ranger named Orphan.
Oh, good. They met up.
I know him. Oh. We know him.
Well, I believe they were headed in the direction of the ruins of Fornost. Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for episode 23 of Shattered Crown. And as G pointed out, I have been waiting for so long to use the title, A Moot Point. Go me. Anyway, you guys saw the recap. That was the recap of episode 21. If you have not seen episode 22, Ages Past, the Elveneth exclusive one-shot delving into the history and lore of the properly Elvish spoken Elaverneth. Go check that out because it is one of the best episodes we've done so far. That being said, Solheim. Oh wait, that's not true. I got to do a whole bunch of other things. I got excited. I got excited about Aris's one shot, and I just started diving right into the game. If you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link. Join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I unleash shadowy terror in the form of ring nonsense on my cast and crew here. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. With that being said, I think we might have lost Dot right on time. Maybe she didn't do her hotspot.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty right on time.
She talked all about that hotspot. Solheim and Glofrim, you are being led up the winding, hidden switchback path of Weathertop. And following the flow of the story from Aris's one-shot, Solheim, you are introduced to so many questions and topics and whatever Glofrim wants to talk about that it's almost impossible for you to get in a word in edgewise with Ismael, the ranger. I'm not sure if this is the first ranger you've had the privilege of meeting or having worked with, but he is doing his best to give as limited word answers as he possibly can, and he is also finding it difficult to get words out to answer them. But the three of you arrive, and you see Elveneth. She is staring out one of the broken, almost banister-like sets of ruins that looks out to the north. So as a recap for Dot, if you can hear us, you and Solheim have arrived at the top of Weathertop to see Elverneth looking out towards the north. The landscape you can see miles out from here. She arrived here far before you, and Glofrim, for the sake of continuity, you've been just peppering Ismael with as many questions, stories, concerns, notes as you possibly can, and he is limiting his answers to 1 to 3 words. So as you all arrive at the top of the ruins of Weathertop, namely Solheim and Glofrim, what are you doing?
Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the lay of the land. I mean, what an exceptionally stunning view. It's quite beautiful. You don't get to see this, very often.
That is true. If this is the first time you've been to Weathertop, and really you have no reason to have been here before, and it's very difficult to get here, you can literally see in miles in every direction.
I would like to look at all the history things, the bits, the leftovers, the baubles, the writings, the statues, the structure, what's left of it.
Are you looking for anything specifically, or are you just enjoying the view?
Well, that is a good question. Based on the pleasant conversation we had around the fire about Gandalf and all that business, there's a name that keeps popping up, Witch King of Angmar, as well as one of the family names for old House of Man. I don't have me notes. It was the one with the crown.
The House of Isildur.
The crown. We found it in the Burrs.
The House of Isildur.
I don't know. I don't think we actually. I don't know. We didn't actually identify it. I don't believe.
The symbol with the crown, like the tree with the crown, that is the line of kings of Arnor.
No, the crown we found.
Oh, you never actually had a name for that person who had that. It has the symbol of the royalty of Arnor. So it is like some lesser lord, but you don't actually have a house name.
That's what I'm saying, but we got one last time. I'm pretty sure of it.
The borough was called the Black Borough, and so it didn't actually have a name. That will catch up eventually.
I'm telling you, we got a house name because I made a connection last time between a second time of something being mentioned about I'm just gonna have to go find my actual notes book. You know what? It doesn't matter, Mike. What I'd like to roll is a lore.
Okay. What are you trying to find out?
Based on the surroundings.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm looking.
Okay.
Right? All I care about is knowledge. Can I make a connection? Do I see something interesting?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Make me a lore check. You're still miserable.
I was supposed to say, when was the last time, some great explorer just walked in knowing everything they was looking for? I'm just here to look.
I just wanted to know what you were looking for. Doug.
Okay. I'm not. Glowfrom's looking for nothing. Daw is looking for what Glowfrom doesn't find with failure.
Yeah, that's true. You find nothing with failure. I looked back through my notes. The only note I have for you is any houses was during your dream, which was House Feanor, the elf dream. So, Glover,
it's okay. I'm going to go back and find it. I will find it and bring it back to the table at another date.
You do it. I support this 100%. You wander around. Not so much wander, but this is This is almost like like going to someone else's archaeological dig, right? These are ruins of an ancient time, and this is the first time you've had the opportunity to be here. And so, what you see are the bases and possibly legs of statues. Maybe they were pillars. You're not entirely sure. You see what looks like it could have been banisters. There's fragmented walls, and you imagine that based on everything you saw when you were coming up here, there were partially like stones jutting out of the wall. You could see at the base of this hill that the entire hill itself was part of this structure, not just this little like mushroom top that it is now. This whole thing had not exactly like a castle, but there were ramparts on here. There were towers. This was a massive structure, not just this little tiny fort on top of the hill. It was huge. Where you are now is the pinnacle of what used to be the watchtower of Amansul. You see, there are not quite intricate, but definitely intentioned, like circular stonework here. As in, there is a central circular keystone piece at the top of the tower here, and there are concentric rings of stonework that come out from there, forming this circular tower. You can see that. You can imagine that at one point there were walls and these pitched arched high windows that looked out in every direction, so that this could be used as both a watchtower to visually see out, but also some sort of place of importance here. Everything in the center has been cleared, and that stands true with the fact that that rangers are rumored to use this place as a meeting point or rest point, and obviously that the Moot was here recently. So everything is sort of, there's no debris in the center of this place. It's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear dance floor there. But you see the grandeur of what this place could have been, those 1,000 years ago, before its fall. And based on your knowledge of just general architecture and stonework, you would assume that central circle keystone was likely a place of importance. It doesn't seem to be a place where you just have a big old like signal fire. It seems to have been a place of great import, but what that is has been lost to time. As Glowfrom does this, Solheim, you said you were looking out at the beautiful landscape. You can literally see, as far as the human eye can see, in every direction here. This is the highest point in the land for a large like the only thing higher you can see is to the east. You can see the mountains, and to the west, far off, you can see two sections to the to the northwest and to the southwest. The two sections of the Blue Mountains, sort of peeking out there. But the fact that you can see like the edges of the Blue Mountains, that's leagues. That's incredibly far. The fact that you can see that distance, and the mountains to the east, kind of arc in like a crescent moon shape almost, up to the north, and you see that they just sort of darken as they go forward. And as Manel, he sort of lets you guys, meander around here, and you see him walk over to Elverneth and share a quick conversation between the two of them. Anyone who is like perking their ears up understands that conversation is happening in Elvish, sort of leaving Glowfrom and Solheim to do whatever they're doing here, as they have a small conversation to themselves.
Glowfrom walks up, and since you're looking out over the edge, I do that silly things friends do where they put the hand just a little too hard, so you nudge a little bit and it scares you on the edge of the cliff. I'm like, oh, careful now, don't fall. This is the highest point. And I point out towards the Blue Mountains, and I say, all the way over there against the skyline is me home.
Quite a beautiful sight, wouldn't you agree?
I would, though, I don't know that all the dwarves do. All they yearn for is an old mountain full of corpses.
Yeah, well, Do you miss your home?
No,
That's fair.
you can't. You can't see the stars in the mountains, or the sunrise, or share a big ale with a handsome man 3 times your size. You can't do that cramped in the mountain.
No, I don't suppose that you can.
Turns
Speaking
out
of
a handsome
which,
man 3 times your size is pretty hard to find in the mountains.
we should probably start making camp here.
Okay. I'll make the fire.
All right. And I kind of point out the keystone area. I say, do not use that space. It is a little unlucky to camp in the middle exactly.
What do you mean unlucky?
Well, at one point, that was where one of the, I think you call them seeing stones. That's where one of them resided. The Palantir.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, oh no. That's amazing.
I'm not quite sure that I would care to know.
Okay, I won't. Nobody. Yeah. Just
We love you, Dad. It's okay. But the face that you're stuck on is such a glow from face. Oh, no.
That was
Love
awesome.
you.
It was great.
Amazing.
That was beautiful.
Yes. Well, at one point, there was a beautiful archway that went over here, and I start pointing out different things that used to be in the area around us. Just kind of giving everyone a bit of a tour, historic tour of what this place was and what it's become now. As we start setting up camp and getting everything ready for the night, getting the watch ready. I suppose I will start some stew.
Very kind of you.
Yes.
As Mana looks to everyone, and he says, "Are you passing through? Do you intend to stay here for a time?"
We are passing through. We intend to be leaving in the morning, however. This was a good detour. We were hoping for information on the Moot, see what happened here.
Yes. I will share what I am able. There have been rumors, sightings, omens, everything that you can imagine. Most have been false. Many have been verified. There is a shadow in the north. We're not sure if this is orcs on the move, or we've heard sign of other dark creatures. There have been reports of trolls in some large number headed down from the Ettenmoors. There have been the hillmen have been active, and fires have been reported as far north as Carndum. Now, I don't know if this is a vagrant hillman straying too far north, or either way, this is something that cannot be left unchecked. The signs all point that there is something happening in the north. There are people moving in shadow. There is a large bandit force in the area of Fornor's Terrain that seems to be far more specifically active. They are not your general rabble-rouser. There's not enough travelers that far north to really rouse anything. They seem to be interested in the ruins themselves, which can be...
Wait, what ruins?
The ruins of Fornost.
Why would they be interested in those ruins?
The ruins of Fornost are... they're one of the last bastions of the Kingdom of Men, the time past. The Battle of Fornost was the final battle of the Witch King of Angmar. It was also one of the sites of the Palantir, much like this.
Another one?
There were 7 in total.
I get...
Please forgive my ignorance, but I don't think I understand what a Palantir is.
Mm.
You have no reason to. Not but the oldest elves and the most wizened scholars would. As far as I understand it, the Palantiri were created by, and he kind of gestures in the general direction of Elveneth setting up her stew, by elves of old. They came from across the sea, bearing at least 7 of them that I'm aware of. And as far as I understand it, they were given to the ancestors of the Kingdom of Men. 3, I believe, were here in Eriador. 4 in the lands of Gondor. All of them are lost to time. One
They're
sat
stones, big round ones, shiny. That's all
yes,
I ever heard.
I'm sorry. They allowed us to communicate over vast distances. We could send messages. There was some magical ability through these stones. Ancient elven magics. One sat here, and he motions to the keystone. Another traveled between Fornost and Enumenais. Fornost was the last holdout against the Witch King of Angmar. The last bastion that fell.
Let's back up. I break my book out. You said they've been strange sightings, yeah?
Yes.
I flip through till I get to my map. Do you know where?
You have a map of just
basically just what's on our screen.
Oh, you have an actual like full map. Okay.
I don't know if it's like full. I mean, it would go. Yeah, it would. Yes, most of this I would say, but I keep filling it in, as I go. So it's not. It may not be complete around the edges.
It's like a self-cartography map. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks down at your map and he sort of stands over you, and he says, "Generally here," and he points on the map.
Okay. All the activity's been around this location, you said there were strange sightings of trolls from the mountains in the north?
The trolls have moved south from the Ettenmoors, and he points again at your map. In fact, you know what?
All right, I put a light X on the locations he start. Where are they headed? You said southwardly. Have you followed them to a location?
We have only heard reports. Trolls often stay in the Ettenmoors. There is quite a bit of elven clan or family or what have you in the area of Mount Graham. We have heard reports of them traveling in small groups to the south. We have put down a few of them ourselves, but we need to follow up on these. We have also reported sightings of roving groups of bandits that are attacking the ruins of Fornost, or not attacking, but very interested in, and far more interested than we would care them to be.
There's
Okay.
a lot there to be interested in. Or at least there was at one point. I'm sure that there are still many treasures to be illuminated from the wreckage.
There's also been more activity from the Hillmen.
Where?
The Hillmen of Rudour are north of the Ettenmoors.
I mean, that's part of the Misty Mountain Range, yeah?
Yes.
So would I have heard of them?
The
Do I
Hillmen?
know anything about the Hillmen?
There are a bunch of humans that have lived there for thousands of years.
Peacefully? Have we had issues with them?
The Dwarven Kingdom did not expand that far.
I mean, more in general. Do they raid? Do they cause problems? Do they kill people? Like, are they an issue?
You know what? Roll me a lore.
Okay. I was gonna say, do I have? Oh, I also have. Oh no, we'll take the lore. It gives me a little extra. Hey, a success.
You know that in your historical reports of looking for ancient ruins and things adjacent to dwarven civilization, the Hillmen are the descendants of the people of Rudour. Now, the people of Rudour used to be part of one of the 3 final kingdoms of men in Arnor. However, they were turned to the shadow and served the Witch King of Angmar. So,
okay, and I would know that.
They're no longer serving him because he's dead, but they're not the best of people. If you were going to stereotype where bandits might come from, that's usually a good place. Also from the south. However, that's their history, and that could just be the whatever the opposite of xenophobic, the outside of xenophobic. The xenophobic kind of mind frame is like, those are where bad humans live. It's a generalization.
They are, yes, they are generalized by the general public because of old decisions.
Exactly.
From
yep.
Okay,
yeah.
What? Okay, I get it.
In current year, they mostly keep to themselves.
But let me go back. They chose the Witch King of Angmar. Okay, This is the 3rd time. Okay. As I'm going through and I'm marking these locations, I look at everyone and I say, wait. Long ago, the Mountain Men, is that what they're called? What they're called? The Hillmen?
The Hillmen.
The Hillmen were not a problem till they, chose the wrong path by following the Witch King of Angmar. Do all you, when you write a story or a poem, you want to recall something over and over again to make story points so that you can, I don't know, hit a punchline or hit that romantic moment, all these things. In the last few weeks, I have heard the name, the Witch King of Angmar, more than any other point in my life. And you're now telling me weird things are happening and we can't draw some kind of odd conclusion?
Who is telling you that?
Well, everybody, it feels like. We could go back to the beginning.
These sightings, Mistress Dwarf, these sightings are what prompted the Rangers to meet. What you're saying is exactly what we spoke about.
Oh, well, I wasn't really at the
Congruence
meeting.
Of these, you're not a ranger.
And, precisely, which is why, I have this conversation with you now, because, even dwarves can draw conclusions. And I think, it might be helpful since we're going to be traveling that way that you tell us everything else you know.
Are you traveling to the north?
No, but
not.
we are headed eastwardly, and you're telling me they're coming down from the Etenmoors. So all of that, and that's Rudar there. So we are headed eastwardly, and you're telling me there's weird activity. It might be, just give us all the information you can.
I will deliver this news to my grandfather. I think that it is time we put more eyes. Mine do not seem to be enough anymore.
We agree. Not about you specifically, my lady, but we have sent representatives to the last homely house. We have sent representatives west to the Blue Mountains to see if we can rouse the dwarves from their homes. We have even...
Wait, who did you send?
A ranger. You wouldn't know the name.
You sent a ranger to a dwarf's door to ask for their help?
We are all rangers. That's all we had to send.
Well, you're staring at a dwarf who is from the Blue Mountains.
Oh, would you like to go home?
No, not particularly. We are. I guess what I'm saying is if somebody's going to send a message, you're going to be hard-pressed for it to find the right ears if it's coming from a ranger to a dwarf. I could send word to the right people and the right ears.
Then perhaps you should. We have always found that dealing face-to-face with the dwarves is the best way to get any sort of assistance. We've also...
Well, that's because you're not a dwarf.
That may be. We've also sent people to the Havens. I myself was, unfortunately, headed to the Old Forest. And we sent people south as well.
What is the message that you carry?
That there is a growing darkness in the north that has grown outside the ability of the Rangers to combat alone, and that we seek to strengthen ties with the free folk of Eriador, in that we may call upon them should the need arise.
That's rightly noble.
Was my charge orphan amongst...
Yes. He traveled with Haleth. They headed north towards the ruins of Fornost.
Well, it is Hainith that I seek.
You seek one of our own. For what purpose, my good man?
I have a message to deliver.
She is not due back for quite some time.
Then I will go find her.
I would warn you that the journey north is quite treacherous.
It is somewhat on my way back home. It's a little.
I don't know.
Going
I don't know.
a little north there.
It's
But
like you're going. It's cardinal. It's like you're going straight east. This is straight northwest.
just a little.
And your home
detour.
is south, right? Like
No, his home is east,
No,
across the
it's
mountains.
east. Yeah, it's right.
Oh,
across
right.
He lives in Gondor,
Mhm.
the realm of Gondor. I could offer to. I need to. Damn it. I need to move to the Old Forest before I would be able to set off towards Fornost. The forest is treacherous, and there's no determining how long I'll be in the forest. It's not.
Where's this forest on the map?
The Old Forest. You would actually know the Old Forest. It borders the
Oh,
Shire.
there it is. Okay, yeah.
It
It's next to the
borders the
Shire.
Shire. And if you've spent any time in the Shire, Glover,
We
which
do
you
know
have,
who's over there.
you would know the Old Forest. It is. It's one of those places where young hobbits are told not to go and then are dared to go into by their little friends. There are rumors about the forest that it's a dark place, that it's an ancient forest from the days when the trees were kindled, and that there is some sort of tree spirit that runs the forest and can move the forest of its own will.
you are likely to spend a long time there, and you should get started quickly. Is there anyone else in the area who would be able to go up to Fornost?
As far as I know, not exactly locally. The closest would have been Haleth and Orphan. Everyone else has set off on their paths.
We could do it. We could do it.
Solheim is already tasked with it, of course. He's going to do it.
I mean, we could go with him. Escort him. You said there was bandit sightings in the area. Shouldn't be walking alone.
Oh,
We
I'm not
need to
worried
get to
about a bandit.
Rivendell. Glowfrim?
I mean,
You know.
all of this is true, but okay, on a scale of like 1 to ancient jewelry, how important is your message? Solheim.
I don't know. I was tasked by the queen herself as well as the Grey Wizard.
Oh, right.
It's pretty important if you ask me. I did not take the liberty to read a message that was not meant for my ears nor my eyes.
Well, I'm torn.
What is
Mike-
it you are to deliver again to Rivendell?
A granddaughter.
Yes.
My reporting to Rivendell will strengthen their response to the messages they're hearing.
What was the
Mike,
la-
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Elverneth has gone from Fornos to Weathertop to Rivendell countless times at this point. Do I know about how long it would take me to get there and then over to Rivendell?
Yeah, let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About a week.
man.
Of difficult travel. It would have been more with Willie. But you know that basically anything north of the Great East Road is is area that is kind of patrolled by rangers, and by patrolled I mean there's a small scattering of rangers here. So there's very few little small hamlets and shit out there. There's plenty of ruins and places for bad shit to hide. So you could stealthily get through from here to Fornost in maybe less than a 10-day. Definitely more than 7 days. With the rest of your party, 8, 9 maybe, depending on how quiet they can be, and how well they are at traveling rough. Like small, tiny fires, barely anything to cook by, eating what you find, or eating nuts and grain. Things of that nature.
Lots of lembas bread.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun journey to Fornost.
No.
Most folk don't go there. There's no reason for them to be there.
And we don't even know what we're going to find when we get there. We might get sucked into something.
Correct.
It would be much better to send someone else there. However, we are on a very urgent trip.
Your friend, when is she supposed to return from Fornost?
Haleth. There is not a set return date. We are all tasked with our separate tasks, our separate missions, and hers takes however long it takes.
So at least 7 suns there and 7 suns back. Where is she supposed to report at her due end?
There is another ranger in Fornost that she is seeking. There's no central network.
Okay, friend, what I need is for you to help us out and let us know where we can find her when she's all done. How do we find her?
Glowfram.
She frequents Bree.
We would just find her. How far behind her are we? How many days?
At least 3.
Oof.
So, Dot, for you, what he's saying without saying it is they don't have a real big way of communicate. They, leave hidden notes here in
So
Amantul.
she comes... What I was looking for is she'll come back to Bree.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
She frequents Bree, and that's all he knows about, where to find her.
Yeah,
so he would leave a message in Bree, and then when she gets there eventually, she'll find that message, and then be like, well, guess I gotta find him. It's a very loose network.
Elverneth, knowing this, says, perhaps leaving a message in Bree is best.
It's 3 days ride to Bree?
You would be able to leave if your message isn't specific. You could leave a message here, and any ranger would find it and pass it along to her. They'll leave the message here intact, and if she's the first to return, then she'll see it herself. But any ranger that camps here would know to check our stashes.
Would I have gotten the sense that Gandalf didn't want anybody else's eyes on that message?
The one in your hand? The fact that you're carrying a message, or your message that you're the physical message you're carrying?
The actual message.
No, he didn't even incline that you shouldn't open it. He just said, deliver this. Yeah. There was no special instructions, just deliver this to a ranger of the north called Haleth, who has been seen in the company of, and then a description of an elf, a hobbit, and a red-haired dwarf. Which means that Gandalf knows what the 3 of you look like.
Look at Todd's face. I
love it.
Drama.
Well,
On this
regardless
episode
of his
Real
peeping,
Housewives of Middle Earth.
no, it just adds to his list of undesirables. He's a peeper too.
So I suppose it depends on what you would like to do, Solheim. It does not appear that Glofrim and I can spare the time to go up to Fornost at this time. We could come back after visiting Rivendell. However, we could miss Haleth in the meanwhile. You could also go.
Wait! You said there was already a ranger headed for Rivendell, yeah?
There is, yes.
When we get to Rivendell, you give your message to that ranger and they can go out and meet, Haleth. Send him back.
Or we could leave the message here for Haleth.
I say we do both.
And she will receive it when she comes back here. This is a very common place to check in. Others can carry along the message as well.
I say we do both. It seems like ranger communication is a little spotty. So, you know.
Volunteer.
Hey.
If only.
Well,
there are reasons why my people gifted them to you. But that aside, we do have a few ways of getting messages around. I suppose it depends on if you would rather look at the message and see what it says. Perhaps it is not an urgent message. Perhaps it is a message she should get sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and unless we look at this message, we're not going to be able to make a valued decision.
you do have a point there, and I do not recall the Grey Wizard mentioning anything about not looking at the message, or just doing a courtesy.
It sounds like he's been in our business. You know, it seems only right we peep into his.
Well, that would not be my intention to do the peeping, but...
Well, I'll do it.
I'm not there. I suppose you are making a good point. I will go ahead and pull out the message.
Okay.
I know you've been sitting on it for a while.
As luck would have it, I have a whole thing written out. You open this message, and at the bottom you see that it is signed with a single rune. And if you don't know Elvish, it just looks like a cool rune. For those of you familiar, it is the Gandalf rune, it is the Sindarin G. The letter reads as follows. I trust this letter finds you in good health and unyielding spirit, though I fear the latter will be tested in the times to come. I write to you of a most unsettling discovery, which perhaps has not escaped your keen awareness. The shadow grows stronger. The whispers have reached me of movements in the north, the foul reek of old sorceries being awakened, and dark creatures becoming increasingly bold in their incursions. One such creature, a sea serpent of prodigious size, assaulted a ship out of Londair. All were lost save one, Captain Solheim, son of Solston, a barding of notable metal, whom you will be meeting, for he bears this message. The captain was found clutching a jagged tooth of the serpent, a dark omen by all accounts. I have reason to believe that the serpent may be no ordinary beast, but a servant of the shadow, possibly under the sway of dark sorceries. These suspicions lead me to Gorlank, a sorcerer thought long dead, but who I fear has returned to serve his dark lord once more. Your task is twofold. First, muster your rangers and gather as much intelligence as you can in the northern regions, particularly near Mount Graham, where Gorlank was last known to frequent. Second, investigate any unusual occurrences that bear the mark of dark sorcery. Disappearances, strange rituals, or the appearance of dark creatures in lands where they have not been seen before. I especially urge you to pay heed to rumors of cult activities or gatherings that worship the shadow, as these could be linked to Gorlank's resurgence. Keep this information to a trusted few. These are desperate times, and we cannot afford to lose. We cannot afford the cost of treachery or folly. Should you find it prudent, employ Captain Solheim in this quest. He has lost much, and would, I believe, relish a chance to thwart the darkness that took his crew. In fellowship and hope, Gandalf.
It's a bit flourishy, isn't it?
Well, half of the message just pertains about the tale I could tell. Seemingly unimportant amidst the repeated name of Gorlick.
Gorlank.
Another wizard. I am not familiar with this name.
Well, we kind of are, sort of, indirectly.
That name
Some
has come up
directly.
recently.
Another happenstantial occurrence.
I think it is safe to say that dark forces are definitely amassing in the area. If Gandalf has also noticed from how far away he seems to be at the moment, then the moot was well timed, if not a little early for the message. It's
Trouble's
too
coming.
bad you didn't get here a week ago.
Without my book in front of me, remind me what we did learn about Gorlake. He's a dwarf? No.
You have no idea
he's
what
not.
he is.
It was no. Oh yeah, we don't. But what
Um,
did we hear? Oh, the big troll. There was the troll, right, that we came across
Yes.
that was serving him.
No. The troll, your best guess about the troll is that he's old. Old enough to have, probably as old as Elverneth, but a troll. What you know about Gorlake is Gror serves him.
Roar.
He's
Gror
a
serves
sorcerer.
him. Basically your whole first adventure with Timaeus and
Right.
his lot, they were plumbing the depths searching for artifacts. You killed a couple of their guys, Gror got away, and you spoke to Haleth, actually, and Haleth knew who Gorlank was and informed you that years ago,
That's right.
some 30 or more years ago, he was driven south by rangers. And he was
And
thought
they
that he
believed.
died.
Oh, they thought he died. That's right. They think he's dead.
Yeah.
But we're thinking now he's not dead.
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe she mentioned that he fancied himself some kind of sorcerer.
Okay. Well, if this ranger doesn't know that, in short,
Correct.
Glowform will wrap up to make sure he knows how we have heard Gorlake before.
Correct.
Um,
You were actually supposed to find Malord, Malor, who was one of the people who drove him south, but you found him dead in a well.
Right. Because it's a thing
Which
that's
is what-
certainly not in our pocket.
Yeah, which is what sent us on our second task.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
A lot of things are finally making a little bit of sense.
We're connecting all the dots now.
It's like I had a plan.
Us too. Okay, so it seems like you said that they're showing up, these bandits are showing up at Fornost, and when we heard about Gorlang, he had sent a bunch of lackeys behind to scour a burrow. They was looking for an artifact.
Are you speaking to Esmael?
Yes.
There are a great many powerful artifacts of the Age of Men. We have rangers among our ranks currently looking for anything that could help us combat against the shadow. However, a blade is only as good as its wielder, and anything that could help us combat the shadow in the aid of the shadow could combat against us. So if he is searching for artifacts to turn against the free folk, they would be just as effective as our use against the darkness.
Right. Well, good thing we've not come across any of those.
I can imagine.
Me too.
I mean, Orphan did speak of the circlet he was wearing, but
That one we pulled up from the burrows.
with Gror.
Well,
I did
yeah.
recover that one during hours of swimming.
In an ancient Arnorian grave.
We might have gotten caught in a grave. It's fine. We sorted it out.
Yes.
With all of our limbs.
He explained
Can't
the
be said for
story,
everyone.
and you're not on trial here. Orphan explained the story, and until this moment, I had no way to connect you to that anyway.
Well, you know, when you head towards Bree, just remember that if you see any posters up or what have you.
Actually, if you find any posters with Glowfirm's description on them, getting rid of them would be helpful for me as a personal favor.
I will take that under advisement as well.
You know, it's just a likeness, really. There's lots of female dwarfs with mustaches walking about. It's just similar. It's not really.
I'm sure.
Me. Well, it's a beautiful night here at the top of this here tower. You know, when all is said and done, and the Rangers go out and deliver their message and rally the troops, what then?
It depends on what we find when we investigate. There are several of us on on diplomatic mission, as I said, to try to gain the favor of the free folk. But there are just as many of us, like Haleth and Orphan, who are seeking to find answers. When those answers are found, again, we will meet and discuss what is to happen and how best we should proceed forward from there.
When you say the darkness, are you talking about anything particular, or just, you know, superstitious, big ideas?
The kinds of things that we have been encountering, Glowfirm.
The enemy of man is defeated.
Right, so...
Not necessarily for good.
Wait, so you're saying we didn't actually get rid of it?
What do you think Rangers have been doing? What do you think I have been doing for centuries now?
We all have been fighting for centuries. You know, we keep the mountains clear and have helped. You know, I understand it. I do. But, you know, when we're talking about, like, the darkness and evil of the past, we're talking about, you know, war and mass death and genocide. And I guess what I'm saying is, we've been at a period of peace, except Smaug, and that problem was handled by men. And you're telling me we just put a lid on something and what it's seeping out?
Yes. Like a kettle bubbling over.
Well, how do we turn the fire off?
We haven't figured that out yet. That's why we continue to search for answers. That's why the knowledge that you have is so important. You have a first-hand account of exactly what this letter speaks of. Everything that this letter speaks of, one of us in this party can speak to. We were there. We saw it. We fought it. Your hammer hit the darkness.
Maybe.
I watched that happen. You cannot tell me what I did see.
I understand. It's just, you know, we're talking big things. I was just trying.
Daughter of Gloin.
Oh, you had to use my full given name.
Many, many things in this life. And I have never seen anything like what happened that night that we became bearers of a ring.
Bearer's a strong word.
Tell me that bear is not a word that can be described for your current situation, or
our current situation. Let's use my willy, nonetheless. Okay, fine. But you know what? I'm not bearers of any piece of jewelry once, we turn it over into elven hands.
Is that why you were interested in going to Rivendell?
Yep. Just delivering a ring.
It seems our going to Rivendell has started to turn into a multiple reason. All signs are pointing to Rivendell as our next destination. However, I am worried about this message getting to Haleth. Though it seems that the Rangers have already started on the path that Gandalf would like them to. This is just reassurance that they are on the correct path.
How do you know that? Because Gandalf said it? I mean,
there are many who fight against one enemy. And even if we do not agree with them or the things that they do, we must recognize that we all have a part to play. Just like in a battle, every part, every hammer, every sword, every shield, every medic is needed.
Oh, I hate to say you're right, but mark me dwarven words. A letter and an omen from Gandalf the Grey brings nothing good. I'll say it today and I'll say it tomorrow.
Well, neither does swallowing a ring. And I pull out a scoop of
to tell everybody.
Stew, and I plop it in a bowl and I put it in front of you.
You didn't have to tell everybody. It was an emergency, a daft move, and I dare say it was a solution.
And one that could be told in epic tales forevermore.
I didn't keep it down very long, if it means anything.
What were you trying to protect it?
Precisely. He gets it.
But you could
That's
just
exactly
slice
what I
your
was
belly open.
Okay, well, that was an afterthought, and they would have had to catch me. Natural sprinter.
Solheim has I think for like the first time, Solheim gives like one of those looks like, okay, like
that thought process also works if you put it in your pocket.
But thanks to the glorious vocal talents of Elvornith, the ring was safe. The procurer left, and I upchucked it in just a few hours later. Plus, all the ale sterilized it.
Well, I think I've made up my mind as to what we should do.
Or
at least if we are counseling, I would advise that we head to Rivendell upon your quest. Ismael. I was close. I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Just get a nickname.
Yeah, Izzy. I would never offend a gnome. I would never offend an elf like that. Well, Ismael already understands what the message is and could bring it to Bray for when Haleth returns there. We can double down and we reach out with the ranger that is headed to Rivendell. That's a second ranger that would have the message. Eventually, I would hope that in good spirit it would be delivered to Haleth. But I agree that it already does seem like the Rangers are aware of the situation and are investigating it. But it has also become quite clear that, Glowfirm, sometimes your words are true, even though I've only just met you. Gandalf does have a way of meddling into things and setting people on different paths because he understands the way of the world in a way that I cannot comprehend nor understand. That being said, it would be an honor to continue on with the two of you to Rivendell. I can ensure that you will have protection. I can hunt. I'm a man of many skills, and would make for a fair companion until you are able to successfully deliver your own message.
Well, he's right. We're safer with three. So we can just continue riding out in the morning.
Agreed.
I was really hoping it'd be, a nice night under the stars. Didn't expect, omens of doom and whatnot.
Who says you cannot have both?
Unfortunately, this place is known for that.
Maybe it's time to choose a new meeting spot.
It's actually why we choose this one. It keeps most common folk away. Ghosts.
Ghosts.
What do you know about ghosts? Real ones.
It depends on what you're referring. I have never faced anything myself from the unseen world, but you hear a thing or two.
Like what?
Ancient elf stones, ancient elven magics, ancient elven blades, rings of power could all aid against.
Wait. Go back to that one. What do you mean, rings of power?
There were a great many rings of power throughout history. The elf lords of Eregion were known to create great masterworks of artful magic, all lost to time.
You said some rings can connect to the unseen world.
Well, the elves are. I don't mean to speak for you, but the elves are of the unseen world as well. They are of the seen and unseen, and their magic can pass between.
Could it hypothetically call a wraith?
If it was so designed for that, I'm not entirely sure. Are you speaking in hypothetically?
I am very much so, not literally.
It's an oddly specific question.
I just, I take great pride in taking good notes and writing stories, and without fine details, you've got nothing to write on.
You did mention you were something of a scholar.
Oh, well, yes, I guess you could say I am.
No,
You
could also say storyteller.
They go hand in hand depending on company.
Songwriter.
Or the occasion.
Glowfirm, sing your most recent song for our new
It's
friends.
under construction because, the ending's having to change a little bit. Okay. Jokes on Glowfirm. The hot dwarf ain't so hot. I get it, okay? You ever met a dwarf named Narvig?
I
No?
have
Good.
not.
Hope you never do. If you do, just run for the hills, because once he starts talking to you, you ain't never going to get rid of him. He just sticks on you like a leech, like a wart on your left thumb. Can't get rid of it, and you sure can't. And you think, oh, he's so tall and handsome till he opens his mouth. And then you're just wanting to put ale down and hoping he'll stop.
I feel like I've...
Just take it from me,
Yes.
Narvig. With a hard G on the end.
I feel like I have stumbled into something that I was previously...
That's how it happens, love. You just stumble into it. You see a tall dwarf cross cam. You write a song about your ballad of love, and then before you know it, he's trying to hold your hand while you're taking, your injured friend into camp, and you're like, really? This is doing it for you? Oh, disaster. Just messy, if I can say so myself. It's all right.
Elveneth has been smirking this whole time, just trying so hard not to openly laugh, which looks kind of odd on her elvish face as she's serving dinner.
Well, if we are going to be sitting down and having a meal, and you are looking for a story, I could tell you a tale of when I saw a ghost. I
Oh,
actually
yes.
saw several of them.
New page.
And Solheim will like regale an old sea tale, right? Of like
Oh,
ghost pirate ships and old captains of yore and just a classic pirate's tale. And there was one day
oh,
a storm, rolled in, and they swear they saw the banner of, Captain whatever. And so he kind of like tells the tale as if he were telling it to
there's
a
a
group of
wonderful
children.
song. It's called The Ghost Ship, and it's an old pirate shanty about ghosts at sea.
I wasn't sure if that was Dot just telling
That was it. It just
fucking-
when Noam described it, it stuck in my head, and all I could think about was the tune of The Ghost Ship. I'll post the lyrics. I'll find them. It's good.
You begin telling this story, and we have a corruption bar. So you begin telling the story over the course of Elverneth's stew that she has passed out to everyone. You begin regaling this story of high seas adventure, ghosts of an old sea captain's ship. Glowform is taking notes while sort of ladling stew into her mouth, and comparing notes with her own sea shanties. The wind begins to pick up, which Elverneth and Esmaenel would know this is not uncommon. Amen Sul, Amen being of the elven word for hill, Sul being of the word for wind, windy hill. Pretty self-explanatory name here. This place is known for its weather top. The wind picks up here. The wind sort of blows the flame, not out, but enough to like spiral it around, and your shadows cast in strange directions. You can hear the wind sort of howl through the vacant stone cavities, sort of making the hilltop itself moan and groan and almost like wail as this wind sort of fills through this area. It's in fact ominous to those of you who've never been here before. For Elveneth and Ismael, this is kind of one of the reasons why the rumors of ghosts and spirits and specters has been so pervasive around this area to keep people away. Except the wind continues. The chill is enough to cut through the warmth of the fire, cut through the leathers on your back, and it's far too cold for this season of the fall, for where we are in the fall. You should expect this sort of chill in a few weeks' time, if not a month's time. And Alfredeth, you're the first one to hear it. Your elf ears are keen to pick up slight changes and vibrations in the world around you. And if you're not mistaken, you hear a whisper, a voice, a low, baritone voice that just sort of blends in with the hollows and moans of the wind. You listen acutely to this sound, trying to pinpoint where this is. Are you hearing this? Is this actually happening? Are the stories, the things, the pressure of everything that's happened, memories of ancient times before that you just had, are they playing tricks on your mind? And you make out what you think to be 3 words. And the moment you focus enough to hear the words, a shiver runs through your body, a feeling of disgust, a feeling of wrongness fills you from within and sort of spreads out. You hear the words in a deep, bassy baritone voice. Thraknazgvorat, Thraknazvorat, Thraknazgvorat, over and over again. Nearly imperceptible by anyone else, except you look around to see your friends, and though they don't know what's happening, Solheim, Glofrim, you both have that feeling of dread welling up from within you, this feeling of fear, darkness. You see Ismael also cannot hear these words, but he starts. You see him lean back from the fire, and he actually pushes himself up, one hand on the hilt of his blade, and he begins to look around as if trying to find something. The wind sort of moves through the area, sort of whipping up little dust clouds around here. You see that his shadow grows far longer than it should, even in the flickering flame. The stone, little stone parapets and stone cairns that are around this place, their shadows grow long as well. And you see, the 3 of you, the light of the flame, the campfire, dim. The flames don't go out. They don't get any shorter, but you see the light that it produces dim. And Glofrim, as a second, our first corruption bar is everyone takes a point of shadow. Our second corruption bar is that Glofrim, I need you to roll something. I need you to roll me. Let's see here. I feel like it's going to be a valor.
Wait, my shadow goes up or down?
Everyone gains 1 shadow point.
Okay. Oh no, everyone. This is getting bad.
I need you to roll me a valor.
I don't even know how to do that.
On the top of your character sheet, in the middle, there's valor and wisdom. So I need you to roll me valor. At the top, next to rewards.
Oh, I see it. Uh-oh. I failed. By only a little bit, though.
You can spend hope.
But I'd have to spend 3, yeah?
You spend... let me... Hold on, I have a note here.
No,
yeah, I spend...
one per D6?
It's one to roll a D6.
Oh.
You
I do have my hope back. No, I don't. I'm only at half hope
left.
Oh.
You have 12 total hope, 6 current hope, and 9 shadow. If your shadow rises above...
It's already above it.
No, it's above your current. If it hits above your total, you will take a point of madness.
Okay.
Which means you'll be scarred and something bad will happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But also cool.
It is kind of cool.
Cool mechanic.
Oh. I mean, there's not really anything I can do.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to just take the... I mean, I can roll 1d6 and add it, which is basically a 50-50 chance, because I need at least 3.
Chance.
I don't know if it's worth it to spend the hope because I'm so low. And we have the whole trip to Rivendell. No, I'm just gonna have to deal.
Such a long adventure ahead.
So
but I just have to do it.
So the first point of corruption was everyone gains a point of shadow. The second corruption bar, that's what you just rolled for, Dot. You failed the test. You feel an overbearing desire to wear the ring of 7 jewels.
Well, I've got to get it out my hair first, because that's where I put it. Was up in me Loch Ness. Like, so, I guess you start seeing glow from almost like she's trying to dig at her hair, like she might pull it out the root, as if she's trying to get at something.
Wolfram, don't do that. Leave it there, please.
I just want to make sure it's still there. But I got so much hair. Do you see it? I was thinking maybe I'd just wear it for a minute. I swallowed it. So maybe just a quick.
I would advise against that.
Right, but is it still there?
Yes, it's still there. Do not move it or touch it.
Sure?
Just leave it there, please.
I was thinking maybe I just put it, in a place where I could see it, maybe out front of me hair. Now that we're out of Brie and all that, just wanted to hold it for a second.
I, again, don't think that's a good idea. You're already holding it in your hair. Leave it there.
Right.
I didn't even know it was there. It's a great hiding spot. I'll have to hide things in my beard.
Hair, it's a great place to hide it, but sometimes it's so well hidden. I was just getting nervous that I might drop it or something, so I thought I'd keep it in a safer place. Closer to me hand.
Ismael walks over, completely unaware of what the hell you guys are talking about, but he reaches down, sort of breaking the line of where Gloprim is to Elverneth is. He reaches into the fire and he pulls out a branch or a log. You see him hoist it up over his head, and he looks to Elverneth and just motions to shush. And he begins to move around this place again, as if searching for something in the darkness. He can sense something wrong here.
If he starts to look for something, can I look too, scan?
So
you cannot. Dot.
I say very, very quietly, and I'm not going to whisper it here because, microphones. I say very, very quietly, I heard someone chanting in a rough voice. I cannot pinpoint where it came from. And I'm starting to look around too.
Yeah,
Gloprim, don't put it on.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's like, it's itching. It's kind of heavy.
Gloprim, you can aid no one in any way, because the only thing you can think about is that ring.
Right.
Elverneth, what do you want to do? And Solheim, what do you want to do?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab my bow.
Okay. And just searching with Ismael?
Yeah.
Okay. Solheim?
I'm gonna do what Solheim is kind of good at, and that's hunting. If there's a creature or something, like he's only suspecting like a creature of some sort having made it up here.
Okay.
Sword drawn and looking for traces or listening for sounds, sight, scent.
Okay.
Going on the hunt, going on the prowl.
I'll have you roll me hunting, and Elverneth, do you want to roll me scan? Or was there another thing you wanted to roll?
I mean, hunting would probably be better because I'm also hunting, but I'm hunting for person rather than animal.
I'll take that.
Oh, close.
Okay.
Success.
You listen. You have your bow drawn, arrow knocked, just enough tension so that you can quickly fire a shot. You train your ears on this voice, trying to locate where it could be coming from. If someone is nearby, has someone followed you? You see that Solheim, there's no way he could hear this. He is also searching, seemingly purely based on your information. Ismael, you can see that he feels something, but his ears aren't trained the way yours are. And you make circles around this place. You move up the parapets, up the various shattered ruins and areas, and you realize that this voice is not coming from here. those words are being carried on the wind. Thrak Naz Gvorat. Thrak Naz Gvorat. Thrak Naz Gvorat.
Like, stop. Don't hurry, drop it.
Do I have any idea what that means?
Ooh. Let's fuck with that. Go ahead and roll me.
He old.
I am old.
Yeah.
I was also in the War of Fornos.
It's a special kind of old we're looking for here. Go ahead and roll me. Lore or riddle, whichever one you want. Just let me know what it is.
Lore.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. Success.
Okay, so you succeeded by one in the target number. So I'm going to give you some information, but I'm not going to go crazy here.
Okay.
You focus on this sound and you realize that it's not coming from here. And there's a moment of where the hell could this be coming from? And then you realize it's being carried on the wind. This is a skill not known to many. And that makes you think further about who could do this. And you realize that the pit in your stomach that is growing, that roller coaster drop feeling that you're feeling, the dread and fear, this is black speech. You're hearing the black speech of Mordor. Never have you heard those words uttered before.
Which direction is the wind coming from?
The wind is coming from the north.
Oh, I got it. Oh.
Glowfram.
Yeah.
Do not put it on.
Just for a second.
No.
Even on my weave. Oh, even on my weave finger.
Do not. Black speech is on the wind.
What do you mean?
The speech of our enemy is calling on the wind.
Calling you?
Calling all darkness. That is why you want to put that ring on so badly. And I
don't want to put it on. I just wanted to see it.
You couldn't possibly keep it in your hair for any longer. Glowfram,
heavy.
how about you put it in this bag? And I hold out a little pouch.
What if I promise not to put it on? Can I hold it?
You almost put it on there. No.
I did it. I didn't put it on. I swear. Look. It's free of me greasy marks. Promise. Look, I'll even put it back in my hair. I'm just going to put it in the front, so I can see it. Won't wear it on my fingers. No digits. Also, if you didn't know, I actually have a ring that's very much like the one Mike described with the gems in it. So I thought it was
pretty.
I like how you just disappeared off screen again.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot I had this ring. I needed the prop. Like, I needed it. I promise. Look, I'll tie it right here to my hair to look good. I'll just slide it up the straight here, tie it in, put a little braid at the end. It'll look so nice.
Glowfram, I must ask you. And he looks to Elverneth, kind of like picking up that like this is urgent and serious. You should keep it in hiding. You tried to keep it from me for the days that we have known each other. I would suspect that you don't want others to know about it.
Especially since it's been reported that you stole it from someone.
I didn't steal it. Willie did. I ate it. False. Those were false accusations, if I do say so myself.
Who ran away from the campsite containing it?
Nobody saw that till it came up the second time. And technically, it was upchucked into the face of Narvik, so it could be said that he stole it.
I think it was very clear who had possession of the ring when you got to the inn, and who likely took it.
Right.
Well,
mm-hmm.
If you do not tie that in your hair, I will be putting it in this purse.
No, yeah, it's going right back where it came from. I'll just slot it back right here. I'll just tie it right real tight. I was just worried about losing it, I had to check, make sure all this scary spookiness about things on the air and whatnot. Just sneak right up and snatch it out. Look, no ring. It's in my hair. I'm not
I see.
touching it. I don't even like shiny things.
If you get a strange feeling in your stomach, excuse me, I could use some water. If you get a strange feeling in your stomach and you start having interesting ideas, please remember that it may not be your intuition, but interference.
Oh, I'm not going to swallow it again. You don't have to worry about that.
No, I'm rather sure that was your decision, not the shadows.
You don't know that. It could have been part of their evil plan. But I hear you. Maybe not most direct. Yes.
I have raised and watched over 17 generations of Dunedain. Absolutely no one at any time that I have ever been watching children or adults has ever swallowed a ring like that.
Well, that's because you ain't never watched a dwarf.
I highly doubt that dwarves have a habit of swallowing rings.
Oh, we swallow all kinds of things. It's true. You ever heard of the constitution of a dwarf? You know how we found that out? You had to pass a few solid objects, have a few competitions, see what was and was not edible. You ever seen a rock eating competition? Way better than smashing them with hammers. Why do you think dwarves have so few teeth? And you know what? When they knock them out, we just replace it with gold.
Gold is so soft. Why would you break your teeth on rocks and then replace it with a soft metal?
I don't know. I never have myself, but it's shiny and all that. I'm not really drawn to shiny things, except for this shiny thing.
Do you suppose that there is still danger lurking here, or is this too far away?
I do not think there is danger here any more so than 5 leagues to the east.
When you say the voice is carrying on the air, that means anyone that can hear it could be affected?
Everyone at camp was clearly affected, even if they could not hear it. Those who can know what the message should be. I do not know what the message was myself.
Well, who do we know that would know it? Might be worth finding out what the message actually is.
Yet one more reason to continue our journey is.
Let me guess, your grandfather. Okay, well, maybe it's just time to go to sleep with all the whispering and talking to rings and things, and since I can't wear it, maybe I'll, dream about it.
Beware your dreams, Glowfrom.
Why?
Many things can happen when one has a ring of power.
Wait a second. I just thought it was a special ring. Nobody called it a ring of power. Right? No, but that's not true.
Wilfram, what would you call a ring infused with power?
A magical band of gold.
Power ring.
Well, my people have called them rings of power. There are many rings of power, as previously stated.
Is it catalogued somewhere? All of them that you made? Is it catalogued? Written down, archived? All of them, the rings of power? Is there somewhere, like that fancy elven library in Revendell that might have, more information about the making of said rings? Really? Including this one that I'm not supposed to be touching? Not touching? I'm definitely not touching it.
I was not particularly fond of studies. I wanted to be outside in the woods playing.
So you didn't go to the library. One of the only ones, okay.
I think you are conflating two things. I can go to the library and not retain a word that I read while I'm there.
Oh.
And I spent many, many, many decades reading things and not at all retaining that information.
Well, this is why you need me to write it down.
Gwilfram, I think very soon I will actually give you the story. It will answer many questions you have.
Oh, I'm going to get a new book for that one. I have many books. I've hidden them in different places all over. This is book number 4. What? I've been walking about these lands for like 20 years. You think you lot are the only ones that got stories? Or strange things I've found that Willie has definitely most not put in his pocket? I've seen things. Never anything quite as strange as wraiths and rings of power and letters from wizards, but
I wonder how Willie is.
I hope he's safe and there's no wind.
We smash cut to Willie just in his hole, in his hobbit hole, feet up, pipe weed,
warm.
A plate of, warm by the fire, a plate of cheeses and meats just hanging out there. A good book in his lap.
My friend Glowfram's doing today.
He actually has.
Definitely not losing her mind to a ring of power.
Glowfram's first book is open on his lap, and he's like, "Oh, what a great time that was."
Oh, do you remember when we found that goat? Farm 2 levels over. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Willie can keep the first book. He's holding on to the other 2 I've hidden.
That's where it's hidden. It was hidden in his hobbit hole. As this conversation continues, the wind eventually does die down. The feelings of dread slowly abate, and Elverneth, you no longer hear the words on the wind. As Manel is the last to return to the fire, determined to find whatever was causing this, or figure out something about what had happened, this ominous feeling. But eventually the fire light returns to normal. Glowfram, there is a continued lingering desire to handle the ring. However, you no longer feel the expressed desire to wear it immediately. There is just a desire to be near it, around it, touch it, roll it around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually, if you are all willing, you are all able to sleep. Who does sleep?
I guess I don't really need it because it's not going to help me hope or me shadow.
No, but it is nighttime, and you do have several days. You do have like several weeks journey left.
There are 4 of us, yeah? We would take shifts?
Yeah, we would absolutely take shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't think anybody in this party would feel comfortable sleeping all of us all night all at once.
No way, not here.
Yeah. We would definitely take shifts.
Yeah, you have a little over 2 weeks, or around 2 weeks before you get to Rivendell.
Oh, so long. We're never gonna make it. Not in game time. It's over, everyone. We're never getting
We're gonna be playing for 2 years before we get to
2 years just to make it to
Rivendell.
Rivendell.
Listen. As a reminder, the scene from the time that Bilbo left his birthday party to the scene where Gandalf comes back and it's like, is it secret? Is it safe? Was 17 years. So in the movie it was like a week. So in the book that was 17 years. That being said, those of you who are willing to are able to go to sleep, but the camera pans over to Glowfrom, because why shouldn't it? Glowfrom, you find yourself asleep, dreaming of whatever it is that dwarves dream of.
You mean dwarves or Glowfrom?
You know, that's a great question. So therefore, hunky men twice your size, sharing a story,
feeding me bread and cheese.
Yeah, and a story.
And the smell of fresh books and a burning fire.
Yeah, Glowfrom
and a freshly polished hammer.
Glowfrom dreams she's dwarven Dionysus, and it's just beefy dudes, just.
I like all kinds. Glowfrom has, I mean, there's a hunky man, a bearded dwarf.
Yeah.
There might be an elf.
Sure. Why wouldn't there be?
Short elf.
Fucking Christ. You have your dream, and in your dream, we'll say, where is a frequent location that Glowfrom dreams of?
This is like a real place or like a dream place?
Either one.
Like a real place.
Either one.
Inside the Blue Mountains, before they all, where she grew up, before they all moved back, her uncle was one of the only dwarves that actually wrote books. In fact, later on, Buff Table, his book will be one of the only dwarven books to survive the Mines of Moria, and the full history of the Line of Durin. And he had a writing table and ink and books and paper instead of smithing shit and shiny gold stones and stuff. And he used to let me play about his books and his papers.
Hell yeah. So for whatever reason, your dream is set in this library. You see the library set around you. There's the smell of dwarven forge, the acrid smell of flux on an anvil, the smells of the fires, the song of the mountain sings around you as you hear that shh as you turn page after page of these large dwarven tomes, all written in beautifully scripted Kustul. And you see that you have this candelabras around you. There's a fire behind you, sort of casting shadow forward as you read over these tomes. And then you see your shadow encompasses the book in front of you. Your shadow has grown long, as if the firelight behind you has grown brighter and brighter, and more shadows of chairs and tables and walls begin to grow, and everything in front of you becomes cast in this ominous shadow, and they begin to bleed together to form not just individual shapes of the objects casting them, but just one amorphous black shape. And you feel something wrong. Something is off here. This isn't how this dream goes. And you turn opposite you where there should be a roaring fireplace, a door to other chambers of your family's estates. And you see instead open nothingness. You see as if the mountain were cleaved. You see this room is now a window to the vast world in front of you. You see from here as if almost if the mountain itself rises above. You see that bird's eye view, very similar to what you've seen here on Weathertop. You see the land stretch out before you. You see the break where the blue mountains separate. You see the Shire stretch out before you. You see the towers of the White Downs. You see the towers of Elisterion by the Grey Havens. You see the Shire stretch out before you. The large the old forest. You see Weathertop, and you see that crescent moon shape of the Misty Mountains. And something in the north grows. At first, it just seems like a darkness. And then you see a shape. Not a man, not a crown, nothing that you would expect to see given what you've heard. You just see a low hill. A lone, low hill that rises and rises and rises and rises, and is realize that the shadow being cast across the land comes from this hill as it rises and blots out the sun. And that's where we'll end this episode of Shattered Crown.
Fuck, Mike.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's it. That's where we wrap this episode of Shattered Crown, a moot point. We come back next week to see what happens as Mayanel will depart, and you will all head on your 2-week journey to Rivendell, which I'm sure will be just smooth sailing for all of you guys.
Yeah,
I'm
nothing
sure
will
you'll
happen.
have no
It's going to
trauma,
Rivendell.
nothing terrible to talk about.
No, not at all.
Don't read too much into anything. We dropped 2 hot, spicy corruption bars today. So
I hate it.
Yeah, I love
Don't
that.
do it again, chat. Don't you dare. Don't you dare fill that bar again.
I still have
Absolutely.
2. I still have 2 ready to go. So I
Don't make it 3.
I was about to say, Glowform won't make it through the next time with that ring bullshit.
I had 3. We got another one tonight. Dropped 2 of them. So
I've tried to help. You wouldn't let me.
I mean,
close.
I did. How about this, Mike? Let me make a choice to put it on or not, and I did not put it on.
I literally texted Dot in the chat, and I was like, "I will leave this up to you. Bad things will happen if you put this on, but I will let you decide if you Bilbo this thing."
Had it not been for the consistency of Elavornith, Glowform would have absolutely put it on.
I know you would have. So I left it to
you. If Willie was here, Willie would have like, just put it on.
Precisely, yeah.
It's the ring.
This is why Willie and Glowform. I'm surprised they made it as long as they did adventuring together.
I can't believe that they fucking waited as long as they did.
Yeah.
Dot, G wants to know, how does it feel being on the other side of corruption bars? All right, friends, that's it for this episode. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna do an actual after show. We haven't done one in like 5 episodes, so I'm very excited to see what the hell everyone thinks about this, and what we've been doing and talking about, and where the plot's going here. So let's do our introductions and let's get the hell out of here so we can do that after show. And if you guys want access to that after show, it's available on our Patreon, link down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But we'll start with the person I keep tormenting. Dot, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I am your friendly neighborhood Dot, online as Little Red Dot. I spend my days with Kobold Press and my nights playing games with awesome people like this.
Hell freaking yes. Quick, super quick one. We'll zoom right over to Gnome. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
What's up? My name is Gnome. I'm everywhere at Nomadic. Literally everywhere. Like pretty much everywhere at Nomadic. I don't know. Follow me over on Twitch. I stream every morning now. Just chill shit and journaling mainly.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And last but not least, star of our recent one-shot of super emotional lore dropping bombs, Aris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Aristavad and I make things. You can find the things that I make at aristavad.com. Right now, you can get all the rings on my website on sale. You don't have to use any code or anything like that.
Are they rings of power?
Power rings.
No. They're hammered rings and twisted rings. They're handmade rings.
I heard
The rings of joy and brass and silver and copper.
Rings of power coming soon.
I gotta, get a couple more centuries of blacksmithing under my belt before I can make a ring of power. Just give me a little while. I just started.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah. There's also a bunch of things to put your stuff in my website. If you go on to aristavad.com and look at all of the fabric craft stuff that I made, I have dice trays and bags and all sorts of stuff. Go check it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, go check everyone out. Links are in the chats. Links are in the description of the video.
Hey, Mike, where do they find you?
Here. All things unmade gaming. You're here. You found me. You made it. You win. Do all those things. Follow on all the socials. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. All that thing. Smash that like button. You know all the things. Leave a comment for the algorithm gods. Do whatever you're gonna do. That being said, we're out of here. We're gonna do our after show. We'll see you guys next week. Actually, we may not see you next week. Dot is leaving for some shenanigans. So we may.
Sorry,
not
I'm going to Bermuda,
week.
Everybody.
Whoa!
Don't get lost.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I don't make it back, come find me in the triangle, okay?
Yeah.
You got it.
So we may not see you next week, but there'll be something instead. I'll
I was
figure
about to say,
something out.
or it's just a really long dream glow from Haz.
Yeah, just dreaming for days. So that's it from us. We'll see you guys next time. From all of us to you guys. Bye-bye.